It's Unger to the max here, and I am watching a key big Pac-12 battle between two 3-0 teams from Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon, between the Stanford Cardinal and the Oregon Ducks, and Bryce Love just ran for a first down. Oregon, this is probably their biggest home game since ESPN College Game Day's last visit to Oregon when Michigan State came to Autzen Stadium a few years ago, back in like 2015 or something. But Washington, in the Pac-12, Washington is really the only hope for a playoff team. At least that's the belief. Even though they lost to Auburn, as there's a fumble, but it looks like Stanford got it. But these two teams are both in the Pac-12 North, and they want to try and make a statement in this game tonight and show that they're not just going to be pushovers. But the other game I'm watching is Wisconsin at Iowa. And Iowa's not an easy place to go into and win. Ask Urban Meyer and Ohio State about that. Lost by 31 last year. I think that's the major reason why they didn't get into the college football playoff last year. That's just my personal opinion about it. But yeah. So Wisconsin is coming off a surprising home loss against BYU. So I think that proves that BYU is a good team, but I don't know. I don't know what to think of Wisconsin now. 3rd down and 3 for Stanford, near the 50-yard line. Costello yelling step to his offensive line, and they just get it off. They give it to Bryce Love, and he is able to get the first down because at least according to where the ball landed, it was a first down. But let's see what the penalty is. It's holding. Oh, that wipes out the first down because it's holding on Stanford. Oh, and Notre Dame College, they beat Concord today. So we are 4-0 on the season. Oh, that's definitely holding by Stanford. So that wipes off the first down. Jeez. That is definitely holding, actually. By the way, there will be no game footage shown. I'm sorry, but I don't want to risk getting in trouble with ESPN or anything like that. So 3rd down, 13 now for Stanford. Costello. Good throw. Oh, that was a jump ball, but it lands on the ground. Incomplete pass. And Oregon's going to get the ball now. But let's go over to Wisconsin, Iowa to see if the game has started yet. And it's a commercial. So let's go back to Oregon and Stanford. Stanford and Oregon. Because if you say Oregon, Stanford, it makes it sound like the game's at Palo Alto, at whatever Stanford Stadium is called, which I don't know. But no, it's at Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon. College Game Day was there, because this is a big game. It's number 7 taking on number 20. So Justin Herbert comes out. He could be a potential Heisman Trophy candidate. I don't know. So Wisconsin and Stanford are about to start. Oh, and I'll fix this in the thumbnail, but Wisconsin is actually number 18 in the country. And last year, yes, it was last year, when Penn State went into Iowa, it took a last-second effort a last-second throw by Trace McSorley for Penn State to beat Iowa in Iowa. So that shows how hard it is to go into Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City and actually beat the Hawkeyes. And there's Alabama dominating Texas A&M. They won today 45-23. No surprise there at all. Ohio State destroyed Tulane. They're 4-0. Yeah. So, whatever. But, and Georgia rolled today against Missouri. It was like 42-27 or something. Notre Dame beat Wake Forest 56-27. Notre Dame got a nice win to start the season at home against Michigan. But unfortunately, I don't think that rivalry is happening next year. Or it might be next year, at Michigan. I don't remember. But what I do know is that next year in 2020, or it might be 2020 and 2021, one of the two, Ohio State and Notre Dame will be playing 2 games, one in South Bend and one in Columbus. This is Notre Dame College, not the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Notre Dame College is in South Euclid, Ohio, suburb of Cleveland. Speaking of Notre Dame, they're showing highlights of the Fighting Irish against Wake Forest, and they're already jumping to the third quarter where they're up 42-13. Well, that's great. They won 56-27. And it's still a commercial between Oregon and Stanford. And the game between Wisconsin and Iowa hasn't started yet. There's still 10 minutes to kick off. So I guess we're staying on Oregon-Stanford right now. The Pac-12 really took a bad loss week 1 in what was considered a neutral site game, but it really wasn't. Because it was the opening week game between Washington and Auburn. But if that had been a neutral site, if it were to truly be a neutral site game, it should have been in like Texas or something. But it was in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That was mostly a Auburn crowd. That's such a far travel for Washington fans. I don't see how that was a neutral site game. Nice throw by Justin Herbert. And did he make the catch? I don't know. It is 2nd down right now. Stanford defensive front 7. Dylan Jackson, Michael Williams, and a bunch of other guys. Yeah. So 2nd and 2, so that was a catch. And Herbert takes the snap, gives it to the running back. No, Herbert keeps it himself. Wow. Very good by Oregon. He put in the running back's belly long enough for not only the defense to get confused, but I think the cameraman got confused, and so did I. Oregon likes to go up tempo. Last time I really saw Oregon play was in the national championship game against Ohio State when Mariota was the quarterback and he won the Heisman. He might be the first quarterback from the University of Oregon to win. He might be the first player from the University of Oregon to win the Heisman Trophy. I'm not 100% sure about that. So don't quote me on that. So, 2nd and 9 now for Oregon from just past their own 40-yard line. And they try to run the ball, and Stanford defense says, "No, sir, you are not allowed to run on us." And now it is 3rd down. Both teams come into tonight 3-0 on the season. And for some reason, even though Stanford is called the Cardinal, and again, it's Cardinal, not Cardinals, which is different from the Arizona Cardinals, the St. Louis Cardinals. What other cardinal teams are there that are called Cardinals? St. Louis, Arizona. I'm sure there's another one that I'm missing. Justin Herbert. Oh, great pass. I don't know who that is for Oregon, but that was a nice catch by number 13. What a play throw by Herbert. Something Mitchell. And the Oregon fans love it. And the Ducks are in the red zone. What a play. Great throw by Justin Herbert. Now the pressure's on the Stanford defense. And Oregon runs it. And that is a touchdown for the Ducks. And the number 20 team in the country has an early 6-0 lead on the number 7 team in the country. Oh, the Ducks take the lead on Stanford with 8:30 left in the first quarter. Tony Brooks James with the 7-yard touchdown run. Now let's see the extra point. 2:09 it took, or 2 minutes and 9 seconds. That's how long it took Oregon to cover. 89 yards. And the extra point is good. And the Oregon Ducks wow. Justin Herbert had to readjust because the pass went off his hands and then he threw it to Mitchell. And Mitchell made a couple good moves, took it, and then Herbert hands it off to Tony Brooks James, and Tony Brooks James walks it in for 7. And Oregon takes a 7-0 lead. Now let me jump back to Wisconsin, Iowa. Ooh, Iowa's about to take the field. Iowa is a tough team to play, especially at home. Wisconsin comes in 2-1 on the season, losing last week at home against unranked and independent BYU. Iowa is unranked but 3-0. The last 4 Big Ten Division champions have either been Wisconsin or Iowa. 2014, Wisconsin, 7-1. 2015, Iowa. 2016, Wisconsin. 2017, guess who? Wisconsin. I'm still surprised that BYU was able to go into Camp Randall and beat the Badgers last week. So, but teams know it's not easy to go into Kinnick Stadium and beat the Hawkeyes on a night game. Ask Urban Meyer and the Ohio State Buckeyes. They got trounced last year by 31. And the year before, or it might have been the same season, but Penn State needed a last-second throw by Trace McSorley to win it for them. So Wisconsin really needs to establish the run game early. And that starts with Jonathan Taylor, another potential Heisman Trophy candidate. But going back to Stanford, Oregon, I think what hurts Bryce Love as a potential Heisman Trophy candidate is that he plays on the West Coast in Stanford. Now, the reason I say that is because many of his games are like at 10 o'clock. Oh, in 2012, Stanford upset number 1 Oregon 17-14 in overtime. Stanford was number 14. But my point is, like Christian McCaffrey a couple years ago, he was up for the Heisman Trophy and he was a running back for Stanford. But again, what hurt him was that Stanford plays on the West Coast, and not so fans and the Heisman Trophy voters don't really get a chance to see him. Didn't really get a chance to see McCaffrey, and they don't really get a chance to see Bryce Love. So I'm not saying he shouldn't win the Heisman Trophy, and I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to win the Heisman Trophy. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is, even though he probably is the Heisman Trophy front runner, which I don't disagree with, I do think what hurts him is that he's on the West Coast, like I said. So not many people are able to see his games. So 1st and 10 for Stanford. Last time I saw Stanford, they blew up Notre Dame last year. Bryce Love on playing his senior season. My dream, ever since I can remember, has been to play on Sundays. So it must have confused people last winter when I decided to forego the NFL draft. Football is my happiness, my drive. But more than the game, I love the bonds that I formed with my teammates, my brothers. And there was a little bit more to the quote. But anyway, 2nd and 9. Stanford with it. On about the 27-yard line, Costello throws it, and the receiver caught it, but I don't think, nope, he was out of bounds. So it's 3rd and 9 for Stanford. But let's go back to Wisconsin, Iowa. So this game is about to start between the Badgers and Hawkeyes from Kinnick Stadium, and Wisconsin doesn't really play anybody that could be considered will catch the playoff committee's eye. Hold on, I'm trying to put this case on my calculator. Oh, kickoff is coming up next, I guess. Okay, that's not working. Hashtag struggling with a calculator. You know what? Forget it. Okay. Back to Stanford, Oregon. 2nd down. Oh, so Stanford must have gotten the 3rd and 9. Screw it. 5 border tight ends currently on NFL rosters for Stanford. So 2nd and 2. KJ Costello. He might be audibling. He's got 2 guys in the backfield with him. Yeah. I do remember the Rose Bowl game between Stanford and and Michigan State, in which Stanford had the lead, but then Kirk Cousins led Michigan State all the way back, and they beat Stanford. Actually, that was in the 100th Rose Bowl, so that wasn't just an average, everyday win. That was the granddaddy of all. Okay, cool. I got my calculator case on. Now let me just put it in my drawer. There. And Oregon gets a stop on 3rd and 4. And Stanford is still without points with 5.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Ooh. Score update. Indians take a 4-2 lead over the Boston Red Sox. Which, by the way, we already know. Congratulations to the Atlanta Braves on winning the NL East today. First time since 2013 they've done that. The MLB playoffs are going to be wide open. Not sure who's going to win the NL West right now. Last I checked, the Dodgers were winning that division, but Colorado could easily win that division. Or one of them will be a wild card, something like that. Cubs are probably going to win the NL Central if I had to guess. And the Braves locked up the NL East. And the AL playoff, American League playoffs, I think are pretty much set. It's Cleveland playing Houston, Boston playing the winner of Yankees and Oakland. But Oakland hasn't clinched a playoff spot, as Jonathan Taylor runs it for Wisconsin up to the 33-yard line. So I'm more excited about the American League playoffs than the National League playoffs. I don't really see a legitimate threat to to any of the American League teams besides Oakland. Oakland, they had a major injury. Oh, Sean Manaea, he went down. So that's really going to hurt Oakland if they somehow beat the Yankees in the wild card, which that won't happen. And then whoever wins that wild card has to go into Fenway and beat the Red Sox. Good luck with that. Jonathan Taylor runs it and doesn't really get much. And it's third down for Wisconsin. I still can't believe Old Dominion got their first win today. An FBS team against the number 13 team in the country, the Virginia Tech Hawkeyes. First win versus Power 5 program. So 3rd and 2 for Wisconsin. Let's see if Iowa's defense is up to the task of stopping Wisconsin. Wisconsin has a big physical offensive line. So let's see if I had to get... They run the direct snap, and I think they got it. It looks like it. Depends on where the ball is. And they got it. First down for Wisconsin. But now we go back to Stanford, Oregon, and it's commercial. So back to Wisconsin, Iowa. Wow. Oh, it was a direct snap to a wide receiver, I think. Let's see. Ooh, his elbow is down short. No. No way. Wow. Wisconsin runs... What? Smart by Wisconsin, because the runner was short of the first down, but Wisconsin ran a quick play to make sure that the referees could not review it. Wow. That's not that impressive, because Rutgers sucks. But the Buffalo Bulls went into Rutgers and beat the Scarlet Knights. I have no idea why Rutgers is in the Big Ten. They stink. Maryland, I like them in the Big Ten, not because of football, but because of basketball. Although I do miss the Maryland Duke games and the Maryland North Carolina games. I do miss those. But Big Ten play in basketball is actually really good. I mean, look, Michigan got all the way to the national championship game last year. But did they win it? Well, let's just say no. Instead, Villanova won it, baby. Go Cats. I had to wear my Villanova hat. I think Archie Diacono is with the Chicago Bulls or their G League team or something. I wonder where Chris Jenkins is. You know, the guy that hit the game-winning shot against North Carolina in the 2016 national championship. Anyway, it's Oregon ball, 3rd and 3. Again, they're up 7-0 against on the number 7 team in the country. Joey Alfaria, senior, has 2 career interceptions against Oregon. 3rd and 3. Herbert takes a snap, looks, throws, and it's caught. First down for Oregon. Caught by sophomore something Johnson. I didn't hear what the announcer said. Number 9 Auburn leads unranked Arkansas 10-0. I was so mad when LSU beat Auburn on the field goal last week. I do not like that. I don't like LSU. Arizona State's playing number 10 Washington. Oregon runs it, gets some decent yards. They get to about the 30-yard line. West Virginia State destroyed Kansas State. West Virginia. If Oregon wins, if the Ducks win, they will be in the top 10. Probably. Wow. Oregon has 100 yards already. Stanford has 55. Herbert throws, and it's caught. Nice play. I don't know how often I'll do these college football live streams, but I thought since these were 2 big games, I would do it. I might do it next week, but wait, is next week October 6th? I don't think next week. No, next Saturday is not October 6th, I don't think. Let me check. Hold on. Let me check my watch. No, next Saturday is the 29th, so we're good. Because there's a big game from State College next week. Ohio State against Penn State. And I don't want to get too much into this because I don't want to like be a political channel or anything, or like, but I'll just put my opinion out there, and you are allowed to disagree with me about this, as Justin Herbert gets sacked by Stanford, so it's like 2nd down and 20 now, but I think Urban Meyer should have been fired from Ohio State for that whole situation. That's just my feeling about it. Wow. I don't know why Herbert didn't throw that away. Instead of, he could have thrown the ball away and not taken the sack and lost so many yards. Because now it's 2nd and 23. That was Bobby O'Curry or something. So 1 sack for each team. It's 2nd and 23. I wouldn't be surprised if Stanford blitzes now. They're throwing it, and it's a short pass. Oregon gets some yards. It looks like they're on the Stanford side of the field now, but not much. Michigan State, number 24 Michigan State leads Indiana 14-7. Purdue beat the number 23 team in the country 30-13. So now Purdue is 1-3. Although in their first 3 games, they didn't look like an 0-3 team. Purdue, I think, is a better team than people think. Not saying they're not a college football team, playoff team, but I think they're wow! A 3rd and 14, and Oregon just converts it like, ho hum, this is easy for us. And now they're in the red zone. The safeties clear out, and guess what? That opens the middle of the field for Oregon, and Herbert goes, oh, thank you. Thank you for this gift, Stanford. I will throw it to number 13. Wow. I don't know what Stanford was thinking on that play, but maybe they weren't thinking. Which is weird because Stanford is one of the toughest schools to get into, and they are very highly ranked in terms of academics. Herbert takes the direct quarterback run. Imagine if this turns into a blowout. Let's go to Wisconsin, Iowa, because that's the other part of this live stream. It is Iowa ball, 2nd and 1. Again, Wisconsin's coming off a loss at home at Camp Randall Stadium against BYU. So 2nd and 1 on the Hawkeye side of the field. They hand it off, and I don't think he got the first down. It was close. Nope, he did not get the first down. So it's 3rd and 1 for Iowa. 9:35 left in the first quarter. What time is it anyway? Oh, it's 20:45. That's 8:45 for people who don't know military time. Oregon leads Stanford at 7-0 at the end of the first quarter. Justin Herbert, 7 of 13, 123 yards. I might have read that wrong. As Iowa gets the first down on the short handoff, and it is 1st and 10 for the Hawkeyes. And Kirk Ferentz is the head coach for Iowa. And they did go to the Big Ten championship game a few years ago and lost to Michigan State. Then they went to the Rose Bowl because Michigan State went on to play Alabama in one of the 2 college football playoff games. And Iowa got absolutely destroyed by, guess who? Stanford. Why does it seem like Stanford is in almost every Rose Bowl? It's interesting. 2nd and 8. And it seems like Wisconsin's in a lot of Rose Bowls. Does it seem like that to you? To me, it seems like Wisconsin and Stanford are in a lot of Rose Bowls. Not against each other, just in general. It seems like Wisconsin and Stanford are in a lot of Rose Bowls. Although last year was Penn State and USC, and that was a great Rose Bowl. Ooh, nice pass by the Iowa quarterback to, it looks like the tight end, number 38. What's his last name? Come on, turn around. I don't know your name. Okay. Well, they don't want to show his last name. Okay, cool. Nice pass. They sold the play action pass. Wow. Wow. Oh, I couldn't read it. So, Iowa ranks first in all FBS categories for tight ends as they run the ball, and now they're on the Wisconsin side of the field with about 7.5 left in the first quarter. Let's see if Stanford, Oregon is back on yet. Nope, it is a commercial. Hang on. Nope, still commercials. So let's go back to Wisconsin, Iowa. As Iowa throws a pass, it's incomplete, but the Wisconsin defender Harrell is going to get called for pass interference against number 84. It looks like easily. It's either going to be defensive holding or pass interference. One of the two. It is pass interference. So, Iowa ball now. 7:05 left in the first quarter. Let's see, where does Iowa have the ball now? Where does Iowa have the ball? 1st and 10. They are at the 34-yard line now. And they run it on the end around and spins away from the defender and gets the first down and some more yards. Now let's go back to Stanford, Oregon. And it is Oregon ball, 2nd and goal coming up as they just ran a first down play. Geez, Herbert. With Justin Herbert since the start of 2017, Oregon is 9-2. They put up 49.8 points per game, 512 yards, 0.8 yards per game, 27 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. That's with Herbert. Tonight he's passed for 123 yards and rushed for 15. Very interesting. 2nd and goal for Oregon. 13 and a half minutes left in the second quarter. And who called the timeout? I think yes, Oregon called the timeout. So now back to Wisconsin, Iowa. 2nd and 6 for Iowa now. They are close to the end zone. I'm surprised it's not 2nd and goal. But they try running it and get nothing. So now 3rd down is coming up. And against a team like Wisconsin, even though they run the ball, you still need to put touchdowns on the board. You can't settle for field goals. Not against this team. So 5.5 left in the first quarter. 3rd and 8 for Iowa. 5.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Wisconsin 0, Iowa 0. In the other game, it's 7-0 Oregon. Quarterback looking deep, short little pass. Did he get the first down? That's going to be close. No, they call it 4th down. 4th and 1. Now do you go? Ooh, let's see. They're trying to do hurry up offense. And they take it, but flags are thrown. Let's see what the call is. Oh, that's why they threw the flags. Because I was lucky that the play got stopped and buzzed for a review. Because otherwise Iowa would have been called for false start, and it would have made the fourth down play a lot tougher, and potentially they would have settled for a field goal. But now this play is being reviewed. It looks short. Let's see. There's the yellow line. Yeah, I think he's short by a yard. Yeah, I don't think he got the. I don't. I don't think he got the first down. So it looks like it's going to remain 4th and 1. Ooh, Texas Tech is beating Oklahoma State 24-17 at halftime. That's an interesting result. Although it's not in the game's not over, but still, it's an interesting result. I don't think I'm going to live stream for the whole game because, number one, I'm not staying up till midnight to watch the all of Stanford, Oregon, because that'll. But I might do at least all the first quarter, or first half. So here's back to Oregon. Actually, I want to see what the call is. Nope, and the call remains, and it is 4th down now. So let's see. Will Iowa go for it, or are they going to take the field goal? Let's see. And they are putting they have their offense on the field. So they are going to go for it on 4th and 1. So at the Wisconsin 5-yard line. 450. Wisconsin. If I'm Wisconsin, you load that box because you know they're going to run it. I don't think he got it. You can't tell in that pile. No. Wisconsin did not get it. No. Iowa did not get it. It is Wisconsin ball. Yep, Wisconsin ball. And Iowa fans are like, what? How can you do that to us? How can you do that to us? We're the home team. You got to give us all the calls. No, that's not the way it works. Maybe if you're the New England Patriots, you get all the calls because you pay the refs. But that's not how it works in college football. So Oregon calls a timeout. It's their ball, 3rd and goal. Mario Cristobal, he was hired as the head coach for Oregon this year. He was the Miami defensive tackle from 1989 to 92, 2-time national champion. Nice. So, Oregon. He was named the Oregon head coach on December 8th, 2017, after Willie Taggart left Oregon to go to Florida State. And that really hasn't worked out yet. Well, because Florida State hasn't won a game yet. 1330. Mario Cristobal is the 3rd Oregon head coach in 3 years. So it's Oregon ball, third and goal. They're up 7-0. The number 20 team in the country is leading the number 7 team in the country, 7-0. The current drive, 13 plays, 81 yards, 6:25 they've taken up on the clock. 3rd and goal. They motion the wide receiver. Herbert takes it, throws, touchdown, Ducks. Breland, the tight end, makes the catch for the Ducks, and the Oregon takes a 13-0 lead with 13:26 left on the clock. Jacob Breland with the 7-yard touchdown reception. And it looks like Oregon wants to go for 2. Nope, never mind. Oregon's going for the extra point. So the first 2 touchdowns for Oregon have both been 7 yards, which is interesting. So Oregon is up early, 14-0 against Stanford. That's interesting. Iowa painted the visiting team locker room at Kinnick Stadium pink to try and take away some of the aggressiveness or something. So it's 1st and 10 for Wisconsin on their own 5-yard line after stopping Iowa. So they run it with Jonathan Taylor, and he gets some decent yards, close to the first down. Not quite enough. Georgia beat Missouri today, 43-29. Home games against the last 2 seasons: 17-9, 14-13, 40-10 Wisconsin. Penn State 21-19, 55-24 Iowa trounced Ohio State. So Iowa has a history of beating top teams in Kinnick Stadium. So Wisconsin can't be off their game like they were last week against the Badgers or against the Cougars of BYU. It's interesting. Notre Dame is still an independent, but they play like 5 ACC teams a year or something. Jonathan Taylor, 7 rushes, 35 yards. Nah, not that good. 3:40 left in the first quarter. Wisconsin 0, Iowa 0. They run the ball with somebody other than Jonathan Taylor. But, okay, Oregon is still a commercial, so let's stay with Iowa, Wisconsin. The Big Ten East is loaded. You got Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Michigan State, and then the other teams in that division are trash. I think Rutgers and Illinois are in that division. Maybe Indiana. They're no good. But in the West, you have... Oh, Maryland might be in that division. They're not very good. In the West, you got, like, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Nebraska. I think Illinois is in that division. Minnesota. Who else would be in that division? I'm not sure. Who else am I missing? There's Wisconsin. Oh, Iowa. Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota. Is Illinois in the Big Ten West? Rushing yards. Wisconsin 50, Iowa 41. But who's in Big Ten East is Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan State. Oh, I forgot about Purdue. Which division are they in? I don't remember the Big Ten divisions. Like, is Indiana in the Big Ten East or the Big Ten West? Do you know? Which one is it? Like, Rutgers, they're in the Big Ten East. Maryland's probably in the Big Ten East. Minnesota's in the Big Ten West. Iowa and Wisconsin are both in the Big Ten West. So is Nebraska. But is Purdue in the Big Ten West? I don't know. So back to Oregon and Stanford. And Bryce Love trying to find somewhere to run, but he can't. Oregon's up 14-0 now. I'm probably going to go to the end of the first half with Oregon and Stanford. Maybe. I have somewhere to be at 9:30, so that's probably when I'll end this live stream, just to let you know. Or somewhere close to that. So, Iowa and Wisconsin are... Nope, Wisconsin and Iowa. I always make that mistake. Wisconsin 0, Iowa 0. I want to figure out the two Big Ten divisions, though. I'm sure... I know Wisconsin's in the Big Ten West. Minnesota probably is. But who else is in the Big Ten West? Is Illinois in there? There's Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Iowa. Those three I know. Who else is in the Big Ten West? Iowa, Wisconsin, Minnesota. Who else is in the darn Big Ten West? If you know, comment. If you know the Big Ten division, what teams are... And Nebraska's in the Big Ten West, I know that. So there's Minnesota, Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Nebraska. I know those four. But is there any... Who else am I missing in the Big Ten West? And then in the East, it's Ohio State, Michigan State, Michigan, Penn State, Maryland, and Rutgers. Are those all 6? So, I think those are all 6. And then in the Big Ten West, it must be Purdue, Illinois, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Nebraska. I think those are the divisions. Comment in the comments in the live chat. Did I get that right with Wisconsin, Minnesota, Purdue, Illinois? Oh, I forgot about Indiana. I don't know. Okay, I'm looking this up on Google because I don't know. And I want to know. Because I want to make sure I'm saying the right thing. So, hold on. Oh, that's such a cool thing that Iowa does. They wave to the hospital kids across the way. But I need to know this. It's so cool. Okay. Let's see. Like, is Indiana in the Big Ten East? Are they in the Big Ten West? Big Ten standings. Okay, so Big Ten East is Penn State. Hold on. So Big Ten East is Penn State, Ohio State, Maryland, Michigan. That's not all. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, so the Big Ten East is... Oh, I forgot about Northwestern. So the Big Ten East is the Penn State Nittany Lions, Ohio State Buckeyes, Michigan Wolverines, Maryland Terrapins, Indiana Hoosiers, Michigan State Spartans, and the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. That's the Big Ten East. Big Ten West is the Northwestern Wildcats, Iowa Hawkeyes, Minnesota Golden Gophers, Wisconsin Badgers, Illinois Fighting Illini, Purdue Boilermakers, and Nebraska Cornhuskers. And Stanford just scored a touchdown to make it 14-6. So, hang on. And I want to know the teams in the Pac-12. I know both these teams are in the Pac-12 North. But I want to see who else is in the football standings. I want to know who else is in... Okay. So, in the Pac-12 North, it's the Stanford Cardinal, Not the Stanford Cardinals, it's just the Stanford Cardinal. And Stanford tacks on the extra point to make it 14-7 as they just scored a touchdown. So it's the Stanford Cardinal, the Washington Huskies, California Golden Bears, Oregon Ducks, Washington State Cougars, and the Oregon State Beavers. In the Pac-12 South Division, it's the Arizona Wildcats, the USC Trojans, Colorado Buffaloes, Arizona State Sun Devils, UCLA Bruins, and the Utah Utes. Now to the SEC. Come on. And then actually, since I have Pac-12, let's just do Big 12. Because Texas beat TCU today. So let's see. Let's see. They have a conference championship. I guess they're not divided by divisions. But it's the Oklahoma Sooners, West Virginia Mountaineers, Baylor Bears, Texas Longhorns, Oklahoma State Cowboys, Texas Tech Red Raiders, Kansas Jayhawks, Kansas State Wildcats, TCU Horned Frogs, and Iowa State Cyclones. Now let's go to the SEC. And I'll also do the ACC. Okay, SEC. SEC East. Georgia Bulldogs, Kentucky Wildcats, South Carolina Gamecocks, Missouri Tigers. I'm not sure why Missouri's in the SEC. They're not really in the Southeast, but whatever. Florida Gators, Tennessee Volunteers, Vanderbilt Commodores. SEC West, Alabama Crimson Tide, LSU Tigers, Mississippi State Bulldogs, Ole Miss Rebels, or the University of Mississippi, but Ole Miss is not eligible for conference title. Auburn Tigers, Texas A&M Aggies, who almost beat the number 2 team in the country, the Clemson Tigers, and the Arkansas Razorbacks. So, and finally, the ACC. Let's see. The ACC. So in the Atlantic Coast Conference Atlantic Division, it's the Clemson Tigers, Syracuse Orange, Boston College Eagles, North Carolina State Wolfpack, Louisville Cardinals, not Louisville, it's Louisville, the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, and the Florida State Seminoles. In the Atlantic Coast Conference Coastal Division, the Virginia Cavaliers, Virginia Tech Hokies, North Carolina Tar Heels, Pittsburgh Panthers, Duke Blue Devils, Miami Hurricanes, and the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. So those are all the teams and their respective divisions in each conference. Alright, so now back to these games. It was just because I couldn't figure out the teams in the Big Ten comp in each division, but now I know them. I didn't memorize them, so don't quiz me. Maybe later. So it is 1st and 10 for Oregon. And nice play by Justin Herbert, and that's a catch by number 13, and I believe his last name is Mitchell. About 9 minutes left in the first half for Oregon. Let's go back to Wisconsin and Wisconsin and Iowa and see how they're doing. Commercial. So, Dylan Mitchell, they run it and don't really get anything. They get it up to about the 40-yard line, but don't really get anything more than that. 8:40 left in the first half. Oregon 14 Number 20, Oregon Ducks 14. Number 7, Stanford Cardinal 7. And again, the Stanford mascot, it's not a bird or, ooh, it looked like Herbert bobbled that. At least that might have been an optical illusion. As Herbert throws it for the first, no, it's 3rd and 1. It looked, from my perspective, it looked like he got the first down, but no, it's 3rd and 1. 8 minutes left. 1 timeout for Oregon. Stanford has all 3 of their timeouts. Both teams 3-0. Oregon is 4 for 4 on 3rd downs. Herbert takes the snap, gives it to the running back, and I'm not sure he got there. Let's see what the refs say. Hold on. Flag on the play. What's the call? And I will put in the title once this is uploaded, no game footage. Offside by Stanford, so even if Oregon didn't get the first down on that play, they got it because of the offside call by Jordan Fox. So great job by that Stanford defender. Yeah, he's definitely offside. So now it's 1st and 10 for the Ducks. And they run it. And he's got nothing but green in front of him. Touchdown Oregon. And for once, it's more than a 7-yard touchdown play. And the Ducks are up 20-7 against Stanford. C.J. Burdell, a 48-yard touchdown run. 4 plays, 75 yards in 1:44 for Oregon. Wow. And Wisconsin, Iowa is still in commercial break. I have no idea if either team has scored. Don't care about dominoes. And Oregon will try and add on the extra point now. So since the college football national playoff format has been in effect, the national champions have gone Alabama. It was Alabama, Georgia this year. The year before that, Alabama, Clemson, and Clemson won that. The year before that, Alabama, Clemson, and Alabama won that. And the year before that, Ohio State, Oregon, and Ohio State won that. The last BCS championship game was won by Florida State against Auburn. So both games are in commercial now. But I have a feeling Wisconsin, Iowa is going to come back from commercial break shortly. As they're doing the stupid hot wire commercial. But I think I'm going to end the live stream now. So, hope you enjoyed this live stream. If you did, punch that like button like a UFC fighter. And if you want to subscribe, go ahead. I would definitely appreciate that. But it's not necessary. Like I said, I don't know if I'll make college football games a regular live stream like this. But for now, this is Unger to the Max signing off by saying, go Cavs, go Blue Jackets, and go Browns. Beat the Raiders.
Okay, you're good.